Hello and welcome to Bike Shop Ravonia, where they have more than 300 motorcycles on their floor, including some very interesting exotics. With everything that's available, you might be surprised at my choice. It's a BMW C650 GT scooter. Yes, a scooter, not just that, it's a hyper scooter or maxi scooter, depending on which vernacular you choose on using. Now, what is really interesting about this motorcycle is the fact that it has taken off in South Africa. People just don't use them. They just don't happen. It's kind of interesting. You kind of go, yeah, okay, South African mentality, but why would I buy it? It's a scooter. What I want a scooter for? And the truth is that, the answer to that came when they actually had a BMW launch in South Africa, and they had a whole lot of German engineers from BMW. And one of the South African journalists, at that time this bike was just coming out, so it was about 2009, 2010, round about there somewhere. One of the South African journalists asked one of the German engineers, he said, "Why are your scooters so expensive?" Naming that they were pretty much the same price as a motorbike. And I think he actually said, you could actually buy a full-on motorbike for that price. And the engineer looked at him weirdly and said, "But the scooter version is better in every way. Why would you want a motorbike?" And you sort of stop and had to look at it for a little while. And he said little things like, it is more comfortable, it's more stable, it handles better, it's easier to ride, it's more practical, and better in every single way. So I thought, while we've got this motorcycle, let's put all of that to the test. When we say that maxi scooters are popular globally, we are not exaggerating. Annually, more than 15 million maxi scooters make their way to new homes. And the current trend suggests that that number will only grow over the next few years. This specific bike is a 2014 model on sale for 79,000 Rand, and it's in pretty good nick too. It has a 647cc parallel twin motor that's liquid cooled and fed by electronic fuel injection. It also pushes 60 horsepower and 66 Nm of torque. This bike doesn't really accelerate, it wafts. So it's got a CVT gearbox, which is a type of automatic gearbox that I do not understand, but it doesn't change gear at all. So what it does is that the bike keeps the motor at a certain kind of revs. It's got like an optimal sort of rev or rev range. It keeps it there and instead adjusts the speed. So the gearing's sort of adjustable. So the revs stay in the same place, but the sort of gearing changes. Don't ask me how that works, but it does. But you open the throttle, it doesn't really accelerate that much, but it wafts forward. Okay, there we go. That's a fair amount of movement forward actually. But it does it in such a manner whereby it doesn't kind of hit you. It sort of gives you like this very firm push along, a waft along. There we go. Move forward. There's no clutch. Where the clutch lever is the rear brake, and there's no pedals down at the floor. So yeah, you just turn the throttle and it moves. So one problem with being automatic is that there's no gear to put it in when you want to park it. You need a handbrake. Now normally what they do is they put a little lever somewhere and and that's a bit of a faff and it's a bit expensive. What they've done cleverly with this thing is they put the handbrake on the side stand. So look, the side stand's out. I'm not going anywhere, so park safe and soundly. So it doesn't have a problem with speed, but what about the chassis? This bike is incredibly long and very low to the ground, which is what it's supposed to be, I'm told. I mean, I read an engineer's report once or somewhere where an engineer was saying that technically most motorcycles are too tall and too short, that they should be longer, they should be low to the ground. I don't really know the exact science behind it, but this bike is very low to the ground and very long and feels amazing. It's so stable. There is nothing. I mean, even you've got smaller wheels on this thing, yet it's so stable. This is pretty much one of the most stable motorcycles I've ever ridden. It's also 261 kilograms, which would normally be a big problem. But not in this case, because it helps with the stability. It's once something's heavier, then it kind of absorbs everything more. It's less kind of upset by bumps and all sorts of things. And this thing, even though, I mean, this is a very bumpy road we're going down, and it's not bad at all. It feels pretty damn good. As far as handling goes, well, it does that. I mean, it's not, yeah, age-old story, not going to win races, but here we go, up this way, down this way, chuck it into this way. It feels, the way, the center of gravity is so very low that it just sort of does exactly what you want. And you're never going to lean it really far enough, you know, to get like a racetrack styles of things, so that's not really a problem.
And of course, a real motorcycle needs something in the way of technology. It has that indeed.
So there are some creature comforts. This is the GT model, so the screen goes up and down, which is very good electronically, so feel all fancy. It's got heated grips, which is very good. It's also got heated seats, which I discovered after I picked the bike up from Rivonia, only to discover that one of the staff members there just sort of accidentally turned the heated seats all the way up to maximum. I'm sure it was a mistake. It must have been a mistake. None of them would do that on purpose. Am I right, boys? None of you would do that on purpose. Yeah, you'd never do that to joke on one of your friends. Hey. But it is like luxurious. I do get a feeling of sort of luxury. Of the word executive keeps coming to mind. I'm not sure why, but there's a whole lot of executiveness going on here, and I just feel good.
So first part about it is comfort. You need to get on the motorcycle. Now normally, you know, I'm a short guy, even made worse by the fact that I'm a bit disproportionate. My body's very long, my legs are very short. Not absolutely perfect for motorcycle riding. However, with this, it's quite easy. All I need to do is do that. Look at that, I'm on the motorcycle. Look, my feet can touch the floor. I'm slightly tippy-toe, but not too bad.
So my seating position is pretty damn good. I mean, I'm in a lovely position here. You know, I'm like I'm sitting in a chair. You know, I could be watching TV. I could park this in my lounge, turn on the telly, you know, watch some TV while I'm sitting on my hyper scooter. And I get to do that instead while I'm riding motorbikes. That's pretty cool. There's no leg back or leg very far forward. It's just a chair, a comfy sort of chair. They should all be like this.
At the same time as all that, it does help that it's an actual scooter too.
Checking this through traffic like nothing. We go around like this, through like this. For people in America wondering, this is what first world countries do. They allow lane splitting through traffic. Look at this. All these people have to sit around and wait and get older and die prematurely and all of that, but I just go straight through. Look at this, like nothing. Also, something interesting is that this is a working robot. Now in Johannesburg, you don't get those very often. It's like, look kids, I mean, you take your family out for it to have a look at it. A working robot. Incidentally, a robot's a traffic light for people overseas watching this. They're called robots in South Africa is because before they introduced traffic lights, policemen used to go and direct traffic at busy intersections. Then when the traffic lights went up, the locals called them robot policemen, which just became robots. The name robots is way cooler than traffic light.
Now here's the other thing, boot space. Boot space is very important. We've got two little boots over here. There's a little boot over there. There's a little boot over there. There we go. There's a whole lot of space over there. In fact, yeah, you can fit tons. You can fit a lot more than just a cell phone in there. And then of course you've got the main boot area, which is unlocked over here with a key. Look at this. Look how much space we've got here. Now, let me just show you some of the things I've got. First of all, look at this massive camera bag, fits in there easily. And then I picked up some groceries along the way. You know, it's the essential health foods like Pringles, you know, a nice health drink, Red Bull, and then of course some other kind of just, you know, things that are essential to keep your adult metabolism going in modern day society. All of that fits inside the boot, and it'll take a bit more. So far we have discovered that the motor pulls well, it's comfortable, it handles well, it's stable, and it has enough boot space to fit a small human. Now on to the next big trick. Is it happy out on the open freeway? Yeah, well, scooters traditionally cannot just happily sort of sit on freeways. This bike can. Because you see, while it is a scooter, it's also a 647cc twin. Now if you had a motorbike that was a 647cc twin, you'd go, okay, no problem, perfect, no problem. But scooter, no. Now right now I'm doing 100, speed limit's 120, so let's go to 120. There we go, no problem, we're now just under 120. If I were feeling particularly brave, then I could actually open the throttle and get up to just under 180 kilometers per hour. And even at that speed, this thing feels absolutely stable, absolutely like nothing. Not that I would know, because doing more than 120 is illegal, obviously, you know. And bad people, only bad people do that sort of thing. What it does feel like, though, is still incredibly comfortable. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to lift up the screen a little bit higher. There we go. Just get out that bit of that wind buffering. There we go. See there, now feels so much better. Yeah, this is comfortable. I could actually, it's like an armchair. I can rest back. I've got like a little bit of back support, you know, and I can chill. I can relax. I can cruise down the freeway on my cruiser scooter, and life is very good. Life is indeed actually excellent. So here's the thing, scooters, maxi scooters in South Africa have not really taken off. And I'm pretty sure most of that is just down to the sort of vibe of it. You know, if you're going to ride a motorcycle, it needs to be a big, bad motorcycle. And if scooters are, again, it's either delivery guys or little girls going to the shops to buy flowers. That's the kind of mentality. And it's a silly mentality. This is not a little scooter for going down to the shops. This is something so much more. This is so much everything. The Europeans have that correct. They're doing it right. That's one thing they're doing slightly better than us. We should ride maxi scooters. We shouldn't have a problem with it.
So the answer is, yeah, why don't South Africans ride these? They're perfect. Absolutely perfect. And if your last stance, your last absolute argument is, yeah, but it's a scooter, and scooters for people of a less masculine nature. Valentino Rossi had not one of these, but a hyper scooter like it, that he spent most of his time, when he lived in London and Italy, he spent most of his time riding one of those around. Are you a more masculine macho rider than Valentino Rossi? The answer is no. In fact, there's only a handful of people who could maybe possibly argue that they're more macho than Valentino Rossi. It's not you. It's definitely not you.